They called it the Hollow, not officially, not on any map, but in whispers, passed between children too young to know fear and old men too tired to lie anymore. It was a sink of forest, just past the quarry and beyond the last rows of rusted train tracks, where fog pooled even on dry days, and the wind carried voices that didn't echo. No birds nested there, no deer wandered through, and even the stray dogs limped wide around it. Everyone in town knew the stories. About the 3 hunters who never came back, the search party that followed and returned with white hair and bleeding eyes, the woman who walked in barefoot one winter and came out smiling without a tongue. My brother Jeremy called it all crap, until he started dreaming in the language of trees. He'd wake in the middle of the night soaked in sweat, clutching dirt in his hands, whispering about branches cracking like knuckles and a black tree with a heartbeat. At first we teased him, thought it was just his overactive imagination, or too many creepy podcasts. But then came the night he sleepwalked into the backyard and carved symbols into the shed door using nothing but his fingernails. That's when I stopped laughing. That's when I started watching. Then, one morning, Jeremy was gone. No sign of struggle, no note, nothing but an open window and a cold breeze that smelled like rot. The town helped search for 3 days before the sheriff shrugged and told my parents, "He'll turn up. They always do." But they didn't. Not from there. Not from the Hollow. I couldn't sleep after that. I started hearing things, soft clicks from the trees at night, the sound of whispering through the walls like static caught on a scream. I'd find black leaves on my pillow, sap on my sheets. Then the dreams came, visions of a forest that pulsed like a living thing, where trees bled and roots shifted like tendons. In the dreams, I always saw Jeremy, half buried in the mud, reaching out, but every time I got close, the ground swallowed him again. One night, I awoke to find myself at the edge of the forest with no memory of getting there. My hands were scraped. My shirt was torn. I had walked in my sleep, or something had walked me. That was the night I knew I had to go in willingly. Halloween, a night when the world forgets its rules. I wore Jeremy's hoodie, stuffed the old cassette recorder in my pocket, and stepped beyond the tree line. The forest greeted me like a lover. The air turned thick, heavy, and sweet, like syrup poured over rotting fruit. The trees weren't just tall, they were ancient, bending toward me, guiding me deeper. And they moved, not like they were in the wind, but like they were breathing. The further I walked, the more the forest changed. The path twisted on itself. I passed the same rock 3 times, though I'd never turned. I found bones. Animal, I thought at first. But one had a wristwatch. Then I found the clearing. In the center stood a black tree, taller than the rest, its bark slick, like wet stone, and pulsing with a deep red glow. Carved into it were names, dozens at first, then hundreds, then thousands, all etched deep as if clawed in by hand. I found Jeremy's. I found mine, already there, already waiting. When I touched it, the tree exhaled, and something answered from below. That's when the ground split. Figures rose from the dirt, not corpses, not ghosts, but reflections, like versions of myself made wrong. Too long, too thin, eyes too many, teeth where none should be. They moved like stutters in reality, jerking forward in frames. I tried to run, but the forest closed behind me, trees locking arms like prison bars. I heard the recorder hiss in my pocket. It had turned on by itself. A voice crackled through, one I didn't recognize. She ran once. She won't again. Then everything went black. When I woke, I was lying in a pit, mud to my shoulders. The trees above twisted like veins. The sky was gone. Only roots. I tried to scream, but something pressed against my throat from the inside. I wasn't alone. All around me, in the mud, were others, mouths sewn, eyes wide, clawing at the dirt, whispering names like prayers. Jeremy was among them. He reached for me. His face was cracked, like old porcelain, but his eyes pleaded. And then he said something, out loud. Trade. Trade her. Trade yourself. I didn't understand until I looked up and saw the creature again, the other me, smiling with my face, wearing my memories. It had already stepped into the world. I had been replaced. That's how it works. One stays, one leaves. But I didn't agree. I never agreed. I climbed out, bit and bled, and screamed my way to the surface. And the forest let me. It didn't fight. It watched, as if amused. Best friend slit her wrists in a circle of candles. I never saw her by. Strangers started calling me by the wrong name, its name. And Jeremy, he rotted from the inside. His veins turned black. His voice turned to dust, until he vanished again. This time in broad daylight, in front of a crowd who never remembered seeing him. Only I did, because I'm still marked. The tree still beats inside me. Every year on Halloween, I feel it call, and every year I try to hold on. But I'm cracking, slipping. Some nights I wake up covered in leaves again. Some nights I see the shed behind houses I've never been to. The mirrors are everywhere. They watch. They whisper. They reflect things I haven't done yet. The replacement, the one that left the hollow in my name, is growing stronger. It smiles in photos I never posed for. It walks in places I've never visited. It speaks to people I've never met, and they listen because it wears me better than I ever did. If you're hearing this, if the hollow has shown itself to you, run. Burn your clothes. Crush your mirrors. Forget the names. Because once it has yours, you're just waiting to be hollowed too. There is no saving Jeremy. There is no saving me. There is only the tree, the breath, the trade, and the whisper in the dark that sounds like your own voice asking, what if I never left? What if the one who did wasn't me?